Someone left a comment on my last video that broke my brain. They said that manners, politeness, waiting in line, saying please and thank you, didn't come from goodness. They came from fear. That centuries ago, people were armed and short-tempered, and if you disrespected the wrong person, you died. So we invented manners, not because we're kind, because we were afraid. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Because if that's true about society, is it true about me? Am I kind? Or am I just afraid? Walking again, overthinking again. The river doesn't judge me, overthinking. Outdoor, let's go. So here's what this person told me. During the war in Britain, people had to queue for rations. Long lines, every day, for food. And that behavior, standing in an orderly line, waiting your turn, it stuck. It became culture. It became civilized. Other cultures look at it and laugh. They think it's bizarre that people just stand there, quietly, waiting. But before that, before the polite lines and the after you and the holding doors open, people carried weapons, people fought duels over disrespect. You bumped into someone in the street, you could die. That's why manners existed, not kindness, survival. And then this person said something that I can't shake. People feel safer now, and their true natures emerge. Their true natures. So all this rudeness we see, the cutting in line, the not saying thank you, the speakerphone in public, the ghosting, that's not society getting worse. That's society getting honest. The fear is gone, and what's left is us. The real us. That's terrifying. More terrifying than the armed strangers? Yeah, because at least with armed strangers, you knew the rules. So I started thinking about my own life, and I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I made a list, a mental list of everything I do out of kindness. And then I asked myself, is this kindness or is this fear? My husband, I love him, 15 years. He's my person, but how many arguments have I swallowed? How many times have I bitten my tongue, let something go, smiled when I wanted to scream? And I always told myself, I'm choosing peace. I'm being the bigger person. I'm being kind. But what if I'm not being kind? What if I'm being afraid? Afraid that if I say what I really think, he'll leave. Afraid that if I push too hard, 15 years will crack. Afraid that the quiet life we built in this small town will crumble, and I'll be standing in the rubble going, I should have just kept my mouth shut. Is that love, or is that fear wearing a love costume? That's not fair. You love him. I do love him, but love and fear aren't mutually exclusive. I can love him and be terrified of losing him, and that terror is what keeps me quiet, not love. Love would let me speak. When did you figure that out? Just now. On this walk, by this river. Thanks for asking. My daughter, 13 years old. I soften myself around her. I lower my voice. I swallow my frustration. I measure every word, and I call it good parenting. But is it? Or am I just afraid of her face when she's hurt? Afraid of being the mother who made her cry? Afraid that one wrong sentence and she'll remember it in therapy 20 years from now? All parents are afraid of that. Yeah, but do all parents mistake that fear for patience? My father, I gave him half my liver. I run when he's sick. I drop everything, every time, and everyone says, what a devoted daughter. But here's the thing, no one asks. Would I do all that if I wasn't terrified of losing him? If he was healthy, completely fine, no history, no transplant, would I still run every time he called? Or would I sometimes say, Dad, I'm busy, I'll come tomorrow? You can't know that. I know, but the question scares me, and that tells me something. And my mother, oh, my mother. Every wedding I don't want to go to, I go. Every neighbor visit I don't have energy for, I show up. Every errand that drains me, I do. And why? Because I love her? Or because the idea of my mother's disappointed face is so unbearable that I will drive across town on a Tuesday night to help her with something I don't care about, just so she won't look at me that way. What way? The way that says, I raised you better than this. And what if she did look at you that way? I'd survive. Would you? I don't know. See? Fear, again, always fear. Something happened today. Driving home from work. Regular road, regular time, regular everything. And this guy, this absolute genius, comes at me from the wrong direction. Wrong lane, heading straight at me. I swerve, he swerves, we miss each other by nothing. By nothing. My hands were shaking on the wheel. My heart was in my throat. And here's what's interesting. The old me, the big city me, the me from 3 years ago, she would have taken a breath and said, maybe he has an emergency. Maybe someone's in the hospital. Maybe he's having the worst day of his life. Give him grace. But the new me, the small town me, the me that's been on these walks questioning everything, I was furious. And I don't know if that's growth or decay. Am I becoming more honest, or am I losing my compassion? Did I used to make excuses for people because I was genuinely kind? Or was that also fear? Fear of being angry, fear of being the woman who honks and yells, fear of not being nice? Maybe the old you wasn't kind. Maybe the old you was just too tired to be angry. And the new me has enough energy to feel it? Maybe. That's a depressing thought. That rest gives you the energy to be furious. Great. So the quiet life didn't give me peace. It gave me enough bandwidth to finally feel all the rage I was too exhausted to feel before. You're welcome, small town. Oh, look, a duck, just floating there. Not overthinking anything. Not questioning whether his kindness to other ducks is actually fear-based. Not making mental lists of his emotional patterns. Just, floating. Be the duck. I can't be the duck. Why? Because the duck doesn't have a mother who needs her at a wedding on Saturday. You know what? I didn't even think about dinner until right now. Progress? Or am I so deep in my existential crisis that my survival instincts are failing? What's in the fridge? Honestly, I don't even know anymore. I think there's cheese. There's always cheese. Cheese and existential dread. The dinner of champions. My daughter would actually eat that, as long as there's no rice. Okay, let me actually try to figure this out instead of just spiraling. The commenter also told me about a junction near their work, an impossible junction, and every morning during rush hour, hundreds of cars slow down and make space for other cars to make a dangerous turn. No one tells them to, no reward, no punishment if they don't. They just do. Is that fear? No. There's no consequence for not letting someone in. You just drive past. Nobody dies. Nobody even knows your name. So that's kindness. That's the real thing. Kindness is what you do when there's no consequence for doing nothing. And that's the test, isn't it? When there's no punishment, no fear, no guilt, and no one watching, do you still do the right thing? The woman who cut in line at the grocery store, no consequence for her, so she didn't bother. The cars at the junction, no consequence for them either, but they did bother. Same species, same safety, same lack of fear, different choice. So maybe it's not fear or kindness. Maybe it's both. Maybe society runs on fear and kindness, and they're tangled together so tightly that you can't pull them apart. Maybe I stay quiet with my husband partly because I love him, and partly because I'm afraid. Maybe I run to my father partly because I'm devoted, and partly because I'm terrified. Maybe I go to my mother's errands partly because I'm a good daughter, and partly because I can't handle her face. Both things, at the same time, always. That's messy. Yeah. Humans are messy. I thought the point of these walks was to find clarity. The point of these walks is to find honesty. Clarity is a luxury. Honesty is survival. There's that word again, survival. Maybe that's all any of us are doing, surviving. And sometimes survival looks like kindness, and sometimes it looks like fear. And most of the time, you can't tell the difference. But here's what changed, and I need to say this out loud because I think it matters. I used to give people the benefit of the doubt automatically. Someone cuts me off, emergency. Someone's rude, bad day. Someone ghosts me, going through something. I was a machine of excuses for other people. And I thought that made me a good person. But now I think, Maybe it made me an invisible person, because every time I made an excuse for someone else, I erased myself. My anger didn't matter. My hurt didn't matter. My experience didn't count because their experience might be worse. And now, in this small town, with this quiet life, with all this space to think, I've stopped doing that. That guy today almost killed me with his car, and my first thought wasn't, maybe he has a reason. My first thought was, how dare you? And I don't know if that's me becoming selfish or me finally believing that I matter too. What if it's both? Yeah, probably both. It's always both. The walk is ending. The river keeps going. It doesn't stop to ask if it's flowing out of kindness or gravity. It just flows. Maybe I should try that. Less asking why, more just flowing. But I won't, because I'm me, and I'll be back here next week on another trail. I'm arguing with myself about something a duck wouldn't think twice about. If you're listening and you've ever wondered whether your kindness is real or just well-dressed fear, welcome. Sit with that question. Don't answer it. Just carry it. It's lighter than pretending you know. Cheese omelets tonight. My daughter will be thrilled. My mother would be horrified. I'm too tired to care which one I'm afraid of disappointing. The walk ends. The thoughts don't. See you next time.